Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. In today's news that the Black Lives Matter narrative is collapsing, we've got a seriously epic story. Now, one thing I've been covering on this channel quite significantly is that backlash to the BLM movement within the Black community itself is on the rise. We've covered Marcellus Wiley, of course Kanye West, Terry Crews, the black police officer from Portland who called them out in a scathing interview, and now we have a New York resident, a black woman, in a sign of protest who smeared the BLM mural that was placed in front of Trump Tower by Mayor Bill de Blasio. She smeared paint all over it while emotionally yelling, "Don't defund the police. The black community needs the police. You are hurting us. You don't care about black lives." An act of selfless courage and martyrdom, putting herself on the line to do what she thought was right for her community. And hats off to her. It was an extremely powerful statement. And in my opinion, she's speaking for the voiceless, those that the media, specifically the left-wing media, is not giving the day of light to. These opinions don't exist within the liberal hive mind. They live in their own thought bubble, which excludes any type of countering opinion. But one thing we've been saying on this channel since day one is that those in the actual community, law-abiding citizens, don't agree with this defund the police movement, and that clearly it's going to lead to more crime than anything else, which we've already seen. But you guys gotta check out this video. It's absolutely epic, and then we'll talk about it and maybe draw some connection to some other stories as well. But before we do, please make sure to leave a like, a comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell to be notified every single time I post a new video, since that's by far the best thing you can do to support the channel. Follow me on Twitter, links in the description, check out my subscribe star, link is also in the description. And with that out of the way, let's roll the tape. So like usual, let's set the stage. Here's the video of this brave woman in her act of martyrdom.
They do it for black people, right? Black lives matter. Black lives matter. But you want to defund the police for black people. You're lying. No, we're not standing with Black Lives Matter. We want our police. Refund our police. Refund our police. Y'all don't care about black lives. Get the paint. Y'all don't care about black lives. Refund the police. Refund the police. They say Black Lives Matter. They say Black Lives Matter, right? They say Black Lives Matter. Oh, they don't care about black lives. They don't care about black lives. They don't care. 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 Refund the police.
I told you guys some powerful stuff, but most of all, a powerful woman who's gonna say what she believes in and shout it from the mountaintops. She won't regurgitate what the media tells her to say, but rather espouses her true values. And honestly, this is probably what the Democrats were looking for. You think that it was just by accident that they happened to place this BLM mural in front of Trump Tower? It was meant as an act of agitation. That's what Bill de Blasio is doing. And what else would you expect from the childish giant who happens to be leading New York? He's always playing games. And of course, he got exactly what he wanted. Except the thing is, did he really? Considering the fantasy land that they live in, they were probably expecting some Boogaloo Boys or something to show up and deface the mural. But interestingly enough, most of the people who are defacing the BLM mural in front of Trump Tower are black women. There have been 4 people captured on video pouring paint over the mural. The first one was this guy.
Come on.
And on the second one, it was a middle-aged white woman with a young black woman.
Video caught the vandalism in front of Trump Tower. 2 women splattering blue paint on the brand new Black Lives Matter mural. One of them wearing a rainbow flag, a Keep America Great face mask, and an All Lives Matter shirt.
All lives, all includes black lives, brown lives, white lives. If cops wanted to put blue lives matter, Dumbo will say no. De Blasio's Dumbo.
And now the third time that it's happened again, once again, it's a young black woman, which pretty much demolishes their narrative. If people who oppose the BLM movement are just all terrible white people with racist beliefs who want to counter the actual statement that Black Lives Matter, then why would 2 black women be defacing these murals? Because that narrative is false. People don't disagree with the BLM movement because they disagree with the fact that Black Lives Matter. They disagree with all of the other baggage. They disagree with the Marxist elements, identity politics, the fact that it's seemingly causing further division in the country, rather than bringing people together. They disagree with the fact that Black Lives Matter doesn't say anything about the young black children that have been losing their lives across the country. And the perfect person who's debunked this when the media pressed her on it is our favorite press secretary, Kayleigh McEnany. Listen to what she had to say. It's poignant and accurate.
When you look at some of the things that have been chanted by Black Lives Matter, like pigs in a blanket, fry them like bacon, that's not an acceptable phrase to paint on our streets. Look, he agrees that all Black Lives Matter, including that of Officer David Dorn, Patrick Underwood, 2 officers whose lives were tragically taken amid these riots. All Black lives do matter. He agrees with that sentiment. But what he doesn't agree with is an organization that chants pigs in a blanket, fry them like bacon about our police officers, our valiant heroes who are out on the street protecting us each and every day.
Americans of all races have protested in all 50 states around that phrase, Black Lives Matter, and the president is here calling it a symbol of hate?
He's talking about the organization. I would note to you that the greater New York BLM president has said if this country doesn't give us what we want, that we will burn down the system, and I could be speaking literally. I'd call that a pretty hateful statement.
But Kayleigh,
yes,
he's not
Ben.
talking about the organization in his tweet. He says
Yes,
the words.
Ben.
He says the words.
Which,
Black Lives Matter.
what's the name of the organization again?
Black Lives Matter.
There you go. You just answered my question.
And another thing that most people disagree with are the tactics that BLM protesters used during their riots. And speaking of tactics, have you noticed that Mayor Bill de Blasio pretty much allowed rioters, as long as they were under the banner of BLM, to break windows, riot on the streets, graffiti, take down statues, with pretty much no repercussion whatsoever, tying the hands of the NYPD and not allowing them to do their job. But the moment that shifts and people are defacing their murals and their movement, and Mayor Bill de Blasio pushes to have them arrested pretty much immediately.
2 women are in custody. Yesterday, police arrested 3 people for pouring blue paint on the mural.
Liberal hypocrisy, what a surprise. And that's the same thing we've seen in Portland forever. Antifa is allowed to do whatever the hell they want, run rampant in the streets, tear things up, assault people, assault police officers. They all get off scot-free. And we've seen it in Portland a million times. People who are charged or accused of things like arson and assault, serious crimes. And the prosecutors just let them go. Could you imagine that happening the other way? No, you can't, because it would never happen in 2 different ways. It probably wouldn't happen because right-wing protests, for the most part, are not violent. There's outliers, of course, but those people aren't part of the right. And also, what wouldn't happen is right-wingers, if they did enact any level of violence, a prosecutor letting them go. They would be demonized. It would be in the headlines for weeks and weeks in the mainstream media. They would get charged with hate crimes, and it would be used for years as an argument or a political tool to attack the right. This is the double standard. This idea of only focusing on one group of people is one of the major issues that people have with BLM. You guys have made it hate speech to say that it's okay to be white. They pretend as if they're the icons of virtue, and that BLM has no baggage whatsoever. BLM's mission statement of defunding the police has been one of the most destructive policy pushes that I've seen in my lifetime. Obviously, I wasn't alive during the early foundation of the welfare state and incentivizing single motherhood within urban communities, but in my lifetime, I've never seen such a terrible liberal policy immediately have impacts to such a disgusting degree. And we're talking about defunding the police and the rise in shootings and homicides that we've seen across the entire country. Check out this story right here. Kansas City police chief predicts close to 700 people shot in city by end of year. Richard Smith said Kansas City had a 38% increase in homicides and almost 347 people have been shot. And that's just in Kansas. In New York, Mayor Bill de Blasio, we saw a 205% increase. And this idea, like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez said, that it's just people trying to steal bread is a complete fallacy. This is a direct result of pulling our police force out of the streets. And the blood is on your hands. The blood is on the hands of the leadership of BLM who refuse to come out and condemn the violence, speak up for the children who have lost their lives, and that is why people disagree with the movement. It has nothing to do with disagreeing with the slogan, and that's the clever trap. If you criticize BLM, you must think that Black lives don't matter. People say that all the time, and it also makes you scared. Making these videos in general, to a certain extent, adds a level of paranoia. People can twist things. It's a trap. It's called Black Lives Matter, so it must be so pure in intentions that if you criticize them, then you must be a terrible person. But that's not the case. And anybody who's looking at this honestly should be able to see that. Defund the police. The chants that we've seen pushing vile, violent rhetoric against police officers. Pigs in a blanket, fry them up like bacon. The undemocratic violence on the streets, pulling down statues and assaulting people, rioting, breaking into businesses, and probably the absolute worst thing, although, okay, never mind. The second worst thing, because the worst thing is definitely defunding defunding the police. The second worst thing, trying to abolish the nuclear family. I can't think of two more destructive policies to hurt minority communities than defunding the police and destroying the nuclear family. And the fact that I'm saying that is because I believe Black Lives Matter. That is the irony of this entire situation. Who really believes that Black Lives Matter? Is it those blindly regurgitating chants and regurgitating talking points from these activists, or is it those who are standing up to the powers that be to push actual good policy and defend the lives, the Black lives, that are being lost in the streets due to senseless violence? And I'm sure you know the answer to that question. And like I always say, what side do you want to be on? Because the answer is pretty damn clear for me. But that's pretty much the video that I got for you guys today. If you enjoyed it, then please make sure to leave a like, a comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell to be notified every single time I post a new video, since that's by far the best thing you can do to support the channel. Follow me on Twitter, links in the description. Check out my subscribe star, link is also on the description. Now it's time for me to get back to cooking up some more content for you guys. I want to thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.